Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're going to be playing through solo trial number 3. That's right, we beat the first and second one, so the third one in the list is right here, and it says it's going to occur in El Dorado, as you can see right beside trial number 3. It says you cannot draft Eldoranian units or tactics. We're going to be fighting against the Zipa, Tactician, and Medulla. So those are the 3 challengers we'll be going up against, and we're bringing in our own drafted set of gladiators as well. So we're going to talk about all that as well as the map rules and all that good stuff in the next couple seconds. So what we'll talk about first, just before we keep going, is maybe the 3 enemies we're facing and their abilities. So we'll talk about that first before we get into the arena setup. So we've got our handy guide here. Again, there's an even better guide on Board Game Geek to guide you through all the different skills, but this one's a great reference for just Origins. So we'll use this to go over the different enemies' abilities and innate abilities, that type of thing. So these are the 3 we're going to be facing. So as you can see, this individual is called the Zipa and has the Gold Runner innate ability. And innate means it's always on. Now, Gold Runner says opposing units within this unit's tactical range cannot use basic or alternate attacks when attacking this unit. So essentially, within tactical range would be the 2 there at the bottom, the white. So if this unit happened to be placed right here, for instance, anything that is within 2, while trying to attack this unit, would actually not be able to do any basic or alt attacks against it. So it's a really unique ability, because not only is it innate, so it's not really an ability, it's always on, but it's going to constantly stop us from being able to kill this individual. Now, this champion's goal is to get a tribute token from this side of the board over to this side of the board, and we're trying to do the opposite by moving our tribute token from this side to this side, but that's more so in the rules of the actual arena. But I just wanted to explain that ability for you. So this individual will be coming into the map, and if we want, actually right now, we can just place those individuals on the map where they are represented. So we'll take a quick look at the solo rules for the trial. You'll notice on the right there, it actually has a breakdown of where these units come into play. So the very first one being the Zipa is going to go in the position 1, which is right next to where that trial, or I should say tribute, will be. So that's going to be right up here in the brown kind of marked area. So we'll grab 4 chips, blue chips for this individual, and throw her up there. So we got 4 premium blue chips. We're going to stack it underneath, and we're going to put ourselves right next to this tribute here. So in this particular spot, we're also going to place the gold tribute, which is what it states in the rules for this particular one. And this is the tribute they're trying to move from this side of the board as a win condition to over here. My win condition is bringing my tribute from here over to here, and we'll talk about that when I place my men out as we do. Although most of my men don't come out into the deploy phase, we'll still put our tribute token out. The other way to win this particular El Dorado map is to just kill everybody from the opposing side. But as you can see with the Gold Runner innate ability, the only real strategy to do that would be having someone long distance being able to attack this individual. And I'm actually going more for the race against getting the tribute across the board instead of going for the actual kill. So, or, wiping out all the opponents. So let's continue to talk through this. So we've already done the Zipa. We'll now move on to the next individual that is going to be in line for facing us. It's going to be a Tactician. And so this guy can do 1 hit, no roll. We're familiar with that. The initiative ability says a unit can move, or this unit can move the same turn it is deployed. Now that doesn't matter so much because this unit will be in play from the get-go, being that it's going to be against us. But if we were actually drafting it and bringing that unit in, it would be kind of an ability to allow it to go right away, which is really handy. But regardless, he's already in play, so that won't matter. And then strategic attack is an innate ability, remembering that's always on. It says all friendly adjacent units gain an additional yellow die to use with their basic attack. So really, we don't want this guy to be adjacent to any of his friendly units. Otherwise, we're giving an extra die to a potential enemy, so that's not good. Third up is Medulla. So Medulla is has Bloodlust as innate and Combat Lock. We're familiar with Combat Lock. And that, just to remind ourselves, is the opposing units may no longer move for as long as they are adjacent to the unit, but opposing units attempting to pass by this unit must stop the instant they are adjacent. Skills that can displace units may have a way of breaking combat lock. So that's about it. So there's going to be 3 health on this individual unit, and she also has, Medulla has a Bloodlust ability, and Bloodlust says if this unit is not at full health, then we add 1 black die to our attack, which you can see would be quite nasty. It would be 2 black dice and 1 blue die, so that's pretty crazy. Or it'd be 2 black dice and 1 blue die, which would be pretty incredible. So Medulla, based on the setup rules, is going to actually be right here, which seems kind of crazy. She's really close to my particular area. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, for the positions. And again, just to ensure they're correct, we're building this based off the actual solo lineup. So you just build it left to right. So Zipa, Tactician, then Medulla. And we're doing it based on the positions within this cue card right here. So again, it states, although it's kind of blurry right now, there we go, 1, 2, and 3. So if we had a 4th one for them, it would be coming in over here. So that essentially sets them up. Now the other thing I want to read before we move into my side of things is let's talk about the actual El Dorado Anvil of the Sun map itself and more about how this is going to work in terms of rules. So the El Dorado objective says, in this challenge, deliver the tribute chip to the opposing arena hex. So the tribute chip for me is right here. This will be right here. I have to actually go and land on this spot and then bring it over. Okay, so I'm bringing it to my opponent's arena hex, and they're trying to bring their tribute chip to my arena hex. Or you can eliminate all the opponents, as I mentioned before, to win. Please note that each player's deployment hexes and tributes are assigned by color, so we're already aware of that. We got brown colors, and we also have blood, kind of red colors. So the enemies are on the brown spots, and we are on the blood spots, which we haven't actually deployed new one yet. At the end of the movement phase, any gladiator who's standing on its own tribute chip may pick it up, and you just place it between the unit chip and the health chips to show you have possession of it. A tribute holder then gains skill elevated, and we're familiar with skill elevated from the previous videos I did, where you automatically gain additional damage because you are elevated. So that's going to come in really handy because you can have an additional damage as you fight your way through. The tribute holder may also forgo its attack option, so if you're in a sticky situation, you can choose not to attack. And of course, it has to be during the attack phase to drop the tribute chip onto an adjacent hex. And even if that hex is occupied, another unit may acquire this at the end of their next movement phase. If a tribute holder is eliminated, the tribute chip drops onto the hex it was currently on, so that makes sense. If the individual carrying the chip is this one and dies, then the tribute chip drops here. If the tribute holder is eliminated, so it drops right there. Once the tribute holder reaches the opposing arena hex, then of course the challenge is immediately won. So really, they're just trying to grab their tribute chip, and as soon as they're landed and standing on top of this spot, they win. And same for me, I'm trying to get to the opposite side. Another note for solo play is the Zipa, which is this individual right here, and the Zeke are champions, so take notice some tactics may not work on them. The champions will also gain the skill elevated, like I mentioned, as long as the tribute is in their possession. Eliminating the Zipa or the Zak does not end this challenge, so you can't just kill the champion and say, I've got a victory. It doesn't work like that. So it's going to be very interesting. So we're going to go into the drafting phase now. So as you guys remember from the last trial, these were the 6 I was using. So I had these 2 tactics and I had these 4 individuals in play. Now this was my team, but remember, based on the draft rules for solo trial number 3, it states that we cannot draft Eldoranian units or tactics. Well, I don't have any of the units, but I do have 2 tactics from El Dorado because they're yellow. So I'm not going to be able to use either of these 2 in this particular play. So I've thought about this and brought in 2 additional units, one from Xanadu and one from Atlantis. So the one from Atlantis is going to be a tactic chip, and it says add 2 health to a friendly unit. So that's going to be really cool because we can bring this in the draft phase and punch up one of our guys to be a little bit stronger and handle some of the damage coming his way. So we're going to go ahead and take that and put it down, maybe right about, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll put it here. I'll have to decide when we get through this which individual it should be on. Now we're going to go ahead and take the next chip that I've decided on to make my team of 6. And look who it is. It's going to be Karakos. So our friend that we ended up killing off in the last couple trials, we're actually bringing her onto our side because we can finally draft her in. One of the reasons I chose her is because she's got crazy fast speed with 3. She's got really good tactical range, which can go outside of the Zipa's 2 that stops individuals from hitting her. So that's crazy. That's going to be a really good advantage. It does allow us to potentially take some pot shots at the Zipa, but my main goal is going to be taking this tribute to the other side. But she's just great all the way around. So what I'm thinking of in terms of a strategy before we begin and before I start deploying is I'm thinking I'll likely be taking Karakos and adding this tactic chip to her, which is going to give her 2 additional health, giving her 4. Just makes her last a little bit longer and be able to handle a little bit more damage. She's probably going to be the first person that I bring out into play. After that happens, then I'm probably going to bring... this is where it gets interesting. I'll probably bring the retainer in next, and the reason I'm doing that is for the combat lock. Again, I'm doing this kind of all off the cuff, and we may change this as we go, but this is my thought process or plan. Then the Centurion, because the Centurion has shove, that's going to allow me to, if things get cluttered up over here, I can hopefully try to keep people at bay. The Hoplite will be at the end with this other individual as well. We'll try to figure out which one should go first when. But at this point, we can really start right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So we've got our 2 tribute chips set up. And of course, when we start this off, I guess this is where the fun begins. So we go ahead and we get to deploy our gladiator or a tactic or a tactic. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to bring Karakos into the battle. So she's going to come out. I'm also choosing to bring the add 2 health to a friendly unit. So I'm bolstering her health from the get-go. So we're going to be up to 4 health on her the second she walks out the door. Question becomes now whether she should be here, 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 or here. I'm going to actually land her right here. And one of the reasons for this is I want to be next to this guy because, in my opinion, the Tactician is the weakest one, being at 2 health. I should be able to make the attacks necessary to kill it off really quick, and that's my hope, is to get rid of it fast. It's also my hope to potentially draw Medulla towards me, but we'll see how that works out. So we'll see how it goes. And also there's a whole bunch of AI rules that you guys will become accustomed when we move to the enemy side of things and how they move. You might be wondering how they're going to move and what they're going to do and react. It's different than how they did in the previous videos I did. So, all right, so we've gone ahead, we've deployed Karakos in, we've given her health chips. What she's really cool for, and something we weren't able to take advantage of ever, because we never drafted her before, was her ready ability. Ready means that she doesn't have to wait to be used. She can actually be activated the turn that she's deployed. So that makes her really useful. I can start moving and attacking with her right away, which is another reason why I wanted her in quickly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, let me think, I'm going to probably have her come, I'm going to move her 3 steps. So 1, 2, I'm going to move her to here. And the reason I want her to be here is because I want to always stay in range to be able to run back to the tribute if I need to. The reason I'm also coming around the corner is because I want to potentially draw Medulla this way towards me, like around this side. But regardless, it looks like it's pretty even, but Medulla would want to come this way before going around. So we'll just do it like that for now. So we're going to have Karakos land here. So movement is now done for me completely. I have no ability to roll, but I automatically get a 1-hit, no roll kind of situation. I have the ability called True Strike. So you might be wondering what that is because we never actually had her. But we did talk about this in other things, another playthroughs, or other videos I should say. True Strike says basic attacks by this unit can be used as alternate attacks. So if somebody happens to have parry, this is a perfect character to have, but nobody has parry, so it's kind of useless for me right now. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and attack. So it's a guaranteed hit, no roll. So we get to just take 1 hit right off of that Tactician because the initiative ability, strategic attack, it does nothing to stop me from making this damage hit. So thankfully we get 1 hit right off the top. So that's great news. And then that's really it. That's the end of my turn because we just began. So now we'll move into the enemy's turn. We know what always happens. The champion always goes first. So the champion's going to go ahead and roll. We've got ourselves a green, blue, black, and yellow die. So we'll roll. And you guys are going to expect a little bit of a difference here in terms of how the AI works. So you're going to see blue and black and wonder what those actually correspond to. Well, in this situation, it's a little different. So we'll lay this right here, but you'll see we were following up here in the top with the Xanadu AI before. We're moving past Atlantis and into El Dorado. So we've got a yellow, black, green, and blue. We have to follow them in order. We landed a blue and a black, so we'll start with the black. The black says move. If this unit moves on top of its tribute, it picks it up. So really what's going to end up happening here, and this is the way that the game also talks about picking up tributes, is when an enemy or yourself moves onto a tribute at the end of its movement phase, it picks up the tribute. So this unit has 2 movement. It'll move on top of the tribute, and then it'll pick it up, but that's the end. of its movement. But now this Zipa, if you remember, like we talked about, has the elevated ability. So when this unit starts making attacks against me, it's going to give me it's going to have a +1 damage, which is going to make it a little bit tougher to try to take down and deal with. So that's going to be a problem. We have to also resolve the blue die. So this is where things get interesting. It says King's Inspiration. And it says all friendly units gain 1 health. That's not good. Can exceed the starting health. Also not good. So what ends up happening here is Medulla is going to go up a health. So now Medulla is even stronger at 4 health. That's not good. And then the 1 hit we took off of the Tactician, we actually end up losing out on. So even though I thought I could kill it in the next round, now I can't. So that's not good. And again, that's all friendly units, so that's those 2. That is now resolved. And now what we'll do is activate these 2 units, and we can do that in any order we choose. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to, well, I guess I'll do Medulla first. So the AI comes into play here. So let's take a quick look at the AI. You can see right here, it says all Dorado units, and also a couple individuals from something we're not using right now, will follow this AI pattern. So we're going to move toward the closest opposing unit first. So Medulla, the only opposing unit right now is Karakos. So Medulla is going to move to try to get as close as possible. So landing here, and that is basically the closest way around, because going all the way around this way would be not correct AI usage. And then of course, we've got this guy, and again, attacking-wise, tactical range only 1, so not within tactical range to do any damage or attack, so that's good. And again, no combat lock or anything, we're so far away, so that's good. Now we move over to the Tactician. The Tactician is going to act the exact same, try to get close to the only opposing unit in play, which is right here. And then, of course, we actually can attack here. And they have a very similar attack to what Karakos actually has, which is just a 1 hit, no roll, nothing else. So I can't avoid this, so I have to take that hit, sadly. So now I'm 1 health down on Karakos. So I really didn't expect that Zipa was going to end up using King's Inspiration to beef up the health. That was something I wasn't expecting. It's definitely going to be an issue here for us. So that is now going to resolve their turn, and it comes back to me. So now we're back in the deployment phase, so this is where I have to decide what makes the most sense. I don't want Medulla coming anywhere near Karakos because, well, first off, combat lock becomes an issue. Second off, this individual rolls some serious damage, and Bloodlust will also mean if Medulla is underneath her total health of 3, then she gets that person gets an extra black die. This one gets an extra black die, so it'll be 2 black dice and a blue die, which is really nasty. So I want to keep that individual away from Karakos, so I'm going to probably have somebody come out that can kind of match Medulla, and I think this is the perfect individual, so Retainer, and not only that, I can also attempt to stun. So again, I'm going to deploy Retainer out with 5 health, so that's a decent amount, kind of as a buffer, and I'm going to place right here. Okay, so the Retainer's going to sit right there next to the Tribute and kind of have that stun and combat lock ability. Now what I'm going to do is, this individual can't move or attack on the turn it's deployed, but Karakos definitely can. So she could potentially run back and grab the Tribute. Now the reason that would be useful, potentially, is because if I run back and grab the Tribute, I'm then elevated, and when I make an attack against Medulla, I would have a +1 on my attack, meaning with a 1 hit, no roll, and my +1, I do 2 damage. That'd be pretty decent. That wouldn't be bad. But we know full well that Medulla would then attack Karakos and likely destroy her fairly quickly, rolling 2 black dice and a blue die. There's a chance Karakos could get knocked right off the map. So I'm not going to move her back here. I'm going to have her take another pot shot at the Tactician first. I think we're far enough away from the Zipa that things should be okay. This is going to get really interesting. So I'm going to have Karakos attack the Tactician. I just got to decide whether she should move first or not, really, is my biggest question. She can move up to 3. Now the only thing that the Zipa can do, or the Zipa can do with the Gold Runner, is I can't attack it with basic or alt attacks within 2. So I could even hit the Zipa from where I'm standing. 1, 2, 3. I could hit the Zipa for 1. That's another option too, to like wear this individual out and kill this one off. That's also a possibility. So maybe that's an option as well. Gets really tough. But I don't want to die, and this is a guaranteed hit. So I'm going to take that one hit off of this individual again. There's lots of options there, lots of strategy in terms of how you go, especially with her ability for tactical range to hit the Zipa and the Tactician. There's quite a bit. Actually, and even still, she's literally in a spot where she could hit any enemy on the map, really. So I'm going to go ahead with the weakest one. We're going to try to keep knocking that person down, the Tactician down. So that's it. That's all of my move. I'm not choosing to move at all with this individual. I still want to be within quick grab distance if I need to. So I'm happy where I am, and we're done. We're going to move on to the champion, who is now going to roll. And I'm going to just cross my fingers that we get blanks here. We definitely did not. We got so much color there. That's probably going to result in terrible, terrible things. So here we go. Let's take a look. We got blue, black, and green. So starting with black, we have movement. So movement with the Zipa, in terms of how the Zipa will move toward its own tribute and then obtain it. We've already done that. So opposing arena hex is next. So we just have to find the closest route to my opposing tribute. So right now it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're coming around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's fairly even. So I'm going to choose... I don't want to do this. I'm going to probably choose to have the Zipa come around this way, I think. Yes. So we're going to go 1 and then 2. And then I guess the really bad thing about that is, well, I guess we find out what happens based on the dice still. So we did our movement. Now we move to green. Green is basic attack. There you go. So I'm getting attacked anyway. And King's Rally. All friendly units gain +1 damage on a successful basic attack this turn. Ouch. So that's going to hurt a lot. So then what's going to happen is the Zipa, this could end up resulting in Karakos just getting killed right now. So the Zipa is going to go ahead and attack with a black and we're rolling a black and a blue. So I'm going to roll this on the mat actually. 1 hit. So that's 1 hit going through against that I can't do anything about. Now again, the King's Rally says all friendly units get the +1, so it's not the Zipa itself. Now we're going to go ahead and deal with the blue die for this champion. And the blue die says the King's Inspiration, which we know all friendly units gain another health point. So the Tactician's back up to 2. And now Medulla is way up there, like way, way, way up there, way too strong. And that's it. That's terrible. So next, we're going to go ahead and start, and we know the Tactician now has the King's Rally ability added to him because of the green die rolled by the champion, which says King's Rally +1 damage. It also does 1 damage, so guys, this is the end. This is where we've lost Karakos already. Karakos has been removed from the game, so we've lost we lost a chip there, so that's not good. And again, no movement was necessary in order to do that attack. Medulla here is going to stay where Medulla is and just make an attack against the retainer. So this is going to be very interesting because it's a black and blue die, which is right here. Lands 2 hits. Oh my goodness, we're just getting pummeled here. So at this point, this is where we stand. So it ain't looking good, that's for sure. I don't know how we're going to pull this one off because with the ability for the king to continue to bump up the health of its units, things are not looking good here. So if we don't crack this one and we fail, we'll be coming back to attempt this again. But I hope you'll stick with me. We'll see where this ends in the next video. Hope you guys are enjoying. I'm not enjoying getting destroyed at the moment, but hey, it's still fun. Anyway, if you guys haven't subscribed, please do. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see and want to see more. And I will catch you in the next one. Keep on rolling solo.